and welcome to Bohemian Crafting New Table. I have decided to use some of these beautiful images from old books here on my table for the inspiration, for increasing my imagination, because the images from these books are amazing, very lovely, interesting, and something what you can't find in new books. I love my table very, very much. But true is that I need to use some muted background if I want to take a video. For normal craft without camera, this is perfect, this is great. And I do have here my glass over all these beautiful papers. So welcome to my new craft room. Today I'm coming to share with you something what I've been asked for many, many times, and it is this. This is my blending tool. This is tool I am using to distress edges on my papers, make them look worn, make them look vintage. I am using this, and here you can see another ones for different colors. And these three are actually, I think these are actually from one cube. I do believe it was one cube, my first cube, and this is from 2014. It's 12 years old, and it still works same way as it was when I started to use it. When I found this beautiful family, this beautiful craft family, I didn't know what distress inks are, how you can use normal distressing tool like this one with those foam pads like these. And I do use, if I'm not losing it, just bear with me. Found it. Oh, I do use this one. But not for distressing with the distress ink. I do use this tool for my alcohol inks, and I do feel very comfortable with that. But when I found my craft family here on YouTube, and when I found that this is for coloring papers into darker vintage tone, I didn't have that tool and I was short with money, so I tried to find something in my home which will help me to spread the ink. I had just small amount of money, so for that money I did actually both one ink pad, but I didn't have left anything to buy some tool. And I had in my stuff here in my home at the times, those 12 years ago, I had all kind of stuff for making nails. And I had these are nail cube buffers. What is the right word? Maybe it's somewhere here. I can't see that, but I will try to Google it. What is the exact name of this? And I will also put the link for what I do have here. This is collection of nail files and these buffering cubes. Each side here does have kind of like sanding side for your nails. That's what I had those 12 years ago here in my home, and that's what I was thinking to use before I will actually buy proper distressing tool, before I will have that money. When I used that first time, I was thinking, because I always was in, when I decided to use this, I grabbed my scissors because it was quite long, it was quite long thing. So I grabbed my scissors and I did cut it on few pieces. That's why I'm thinking that these three are actually that first cube I ever used. I think so. So I grabbed my scissors and I did cut it on pieces because I was thinking, well, I'm starting with this. I will buy that tool so I can use just a little piece, and that rest I can keep for my nails when I will get bored. But I noticed that that cutted side from my scissors, it's not even, and it's slightly like sharp, if you will. And if I will use that cutted side with ink, it will make like smooshes. It will make those, those lines if I will try to use it for distressing. So I actually use the nail file to sand it down a little bit to make those edges straight. Straight and soft. And with that, distressing of the edges of my project started to be more pleasant, very beautiful, and I have to say that I really love to use this because it doesn't soak my ink too much. Like if I will use these foams, it does soak the ink quite a lot, and it does keep the ink inside of these foams. But this one, it doesn't soak that much, and it's actually just holding the ink on the top, and you can transfer the ink from this straight away on your background without leaving here on this one or inside in those fibers too much ink. That's why I stayed with this one. Also, I do have quite heavy hand for everything, even for this distressing. I've been welder a long time ago, so my hand it's a little bit more heavy with everything, and that's why I do like this, because it's stronger for me. It feels stronger, and it feels like I'm holding something. This feels like very soft. That's why I'm using it just for alcohol ink, because with alcohol ink I don't need uh, to do circles or to do distress edges. With alcohol ink I'm just mostly dabbing like this or smooshing long lines. So with this one I feel more comfortable with alcohol inks, and this is my tool which I am using for distressing, and I'm really happy with that. It's not for everyone probably, and yes, you need to learn with this, and you need to make those edges soft to protect your paper from smooshes and from straight lines. If you will have like sharp edges, yes, you need to prepare your tool. But as I said, this is 12 years old, and it's still the way I cut it and sanded that. So this is my tool, and I do use it for all my colors. I lost few of these cubes already a few times, and this one here you can see, this one I didn't sand, and even getting ink on that cube, because it's not sanded to be flat, it does have these sides a little bit like raised, these sides, so even getting ink on this side it's not even. So that sanding to make it flat and soft, it's quite important. And here you can see, yeah, all my collection. This is not the tool I had for that. I'm not sure what is this one. It's from somewhere else, but these are my cubes, and that's what is it, what I am using for my distressing. And I know I did this some kind of this tutorial a long time ago, but I did included that tutorial with my tutorial for some other craft, and I can't find it, to be honest. It's so hard to find it. It is somewhere in on my YouTube, and it is possible to see it. So if you will find it in old tutorials, I think 2-3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I made that tutorial. Please let me know. I will be happy to know where I actually made the tutorial for this tool. But anyway, yeah, this is my tool and I really love it. I can also use it for stencils, and it's exactly because it's flat and it doesn't have that soft squeezy feeling. This is quite hard to push to make it, squeeze like this. So when I do use it over stencils, it's actually, how to say it? It's actually holding that flat layer over the stencils quite well. And I think it's more easy to use it over the stencils than that proper tool. At least I think that way. But true is, for most stencils lately I am using brushes. They are the best for stencils. That's actually true. Well, that's that's all my sharing. Actually, this is very, very short sharing. This was just to make sure I will have one video especially on my distressing tool. As I said, I will link down below the collection I do have here, because that's what I am using right now to extend my collection of distressing tools. And I like it because it does have same feeling like that first one. So go to have a look what I'm using. I do hope this will help to those who were interested what is this tool, and I do hope it will help you if you are like I was in the past and you are maybe beginner and you don't want to spend a huge amount of money right from the start. Maybe you are not sure if you will like to use this distressing tool, or if you will like to create in vintage style with all those colors. If you do have at home, nail file, this nail buffering cube, try to use that for your inking, and you will see if you will be happy with distressing, then you can spend money to buy proper tool, because it's cute. It does have some effect on, especially on videos. If you are using proper tool, it looks cool. But with this you can find out if you actually like distressing. You can use it for any kind of effect. You can do heavily distressing on the edges with this, or that softer distressing if you will do those circle motions. So it works same like this tool. And that rest to decide if you will be happy with this or this, it's up to you. That's my quick sharing for today. Thank you so much for jumping in and spending your time with me with this one. I do hope this was answering some question you had about my crazy tool. I do love it really very, very much. I am happy I don't have to swap it, and I am happy it works after all those years same way like when I started to use it. I'm not pushing anyone to buy it or change your tools. It's just because I had many questions about my tool, so I feel like it will be good if I will answer. That's all my sharing for today. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself, and I will be back soon with some proper craft video. Have a wonderful time. Bye.